There we go. I didn't
Hey,
screw up this time.
you do it awesome.
Sorry.
I love it.
Uh, Sorry, I'm just like also working on the second episode for tonight. The Get to Know the Actor. Anyway, while that's being uploaded, I am once again here joined by Kira's Cosplay in another episode for What Are Your Thoughts? And of course, we are going to be talking about HBO Max's The Last of Us, which I'm surprised and I'm happy that it's getting a season two. Not looking forward to the outcome of season two because if anyone's played the second game, we all know what happens. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking
Mm-hmm.
for. I'm not looking forward to that one bit. But I
Season two
do
is gonna
really.
be rough.
I'm curious if Bella Ramsey will be returning because from what I've seen, I know she's 19 playing a 14-year-old. So I know I remember looking at something how they have her how she's wearing a chest binder to
Yeah.
make her look younger, which props to anyone, whether you're cosplaying or just, in general, you know, props to wearing people who wear chest binders. I can't imagine what that's like.
They can certainly get uncomfortable, but like hopefully you've got a good one that's not digging into your neck or your ribs. Been there though.
Something. Oh man, I believe it. But yeah, episode was it 6?
I think so.
Yeah. God damn, we're like 3 episodes away from season one being over.
That's
That
crazy. And then I think the next episode is DLC content.
Yeah, it's I from what I saw, and I think that may be also the episode where we'll talk about that. Yeah, but it's definitely the Left Behind DLC from what they showed at the ending trailer. So I gotta say, with this episode, even though they didn't show a whole scene. I really love that older couple that we get introduced to.
The wife, she's my favorite. I love her so much.
Why didn't you get the
You
gun?
fed
It was all the way over
him?
there. You made him soup. Yeah, she's got a girl with her.
Yeah.
Just their Graham Greene is probably one of my favorite actors, and I can't remember the gal who played as his wife, but just the banter between. It's like, you know what? I don't. You know what? Screw watching the rest of this episode. I want to see more of these people.
Oh my god, right? Like it's funny because you totally agree with the husband. Like he has every right to be suspicious, but I just love her attitude. It's my
Oh, it's like, and like he said, they've been living there for a very long time before the apocalypse. So
Mhm.
seeing strangers is kind of rare. And I will say, I do like the nod. I do like that little nod from the game where Joel basically has them point on the map, and if they're not telling the truth, he'll kill them both.
Yeah. I love that the husband looks over, he's like, did you tell him the truth? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you telling me the truth? Yeah.
Her attitude is just
Oh. And so when that's being introduced, when I saw the person walking with the dead white rabbit, it's just like, is that Joel? And is that a callback to the White Rabbit later on?
Mhm.
I like how they're showing them seeing some things earlier because it makes sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
All in all honesty, but yeah, the scene with the couple and just Ellie's attitude, like this Ellie is nothing like video game Ellie. Well, kind of, but more like, you know, has more of that fuck you attitude that really we didn't see in the game a whole lot of.
She's still Game Ellie acts like an adult, and show Ellie still has aspects of being a kid or a teenager, and I think that's
I
what makes her
mean,
so great.
who wasn't a 14-year-old and being a little shit back then.
Yeah, right? So I love
So
it that she has really grown up moments where she's like, yeah, Joel, give me a pistol, I've got this. And then she's like, off doing some really stupid kid stuff.
yeah, no, I like how this Ellie feels like, you know 14, like an actual kid Ellie,
Yeah.
unlike what we got. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Ellie in the games.
Yeah,
But I
I
feel
like
like in
them
the game
both.
she was forced to grow up, and
Yeah,
unlike here where she actually
100%.
we get to see a lot more of Ellie that we didn't get to see in the game, which was
Yeah.
nice. And again, this episode was full of emotions, and it sucked. And I got worried when Joel was feeling like he was gonna have a heart attack.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, what's going on there, buddy? You doing okay?
Yeah, it's like it wasn't until like they explained it that Joel's actually starting to care about Ellie. Like he sees Ellie
Mm-hmm.
like his own kid.
Yeah.
And that was a nice way of like showing that he actually care every time he put his heart over his chest. Like, wait, are you having a? Oh, okay. It's him more like he doesn't want his heart to ache. He doesn't want to, he's afraid to lose Ellie.
Yeah. He so desperately like wants to have his daughter back, but he knows that he never will, and he knows that Ellie's just not his daughter, and he might
No.
lose her too, and all sorts of complicated things.
Oh yeah, no. And it also shows another callback to the game when they're traveling through the snow, which is weird seeing it because I know in the game after Sam and Henry's death, it's like what, fall
Yeah.
or something? Yeah. And this is like, nope, we're gonna jump right straight to fucking winter. We're just moving right along.
Yeah. I like that there wasn't a time skip in the show. And I think them putting Sam and Henry's plot point further across the country
Hmm.
helped with that. Then we didn't have to have an episode where it just went fall and there's a black screen like in the game.
No, they just basically like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna, I mean, one, it's a runtime thing, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But so far it's paid off with I'm not again, I don't mind that they skipped a season and just went straight to winter 3 months later, and I'm convinced they actually filmed out somewhere in the snow because there's no way
Mm.
you can like I'm just saying there's no way you can.
I think they were filming in Alberta. So
Can
I
it?
would
Yeah.
totally believe that if they were actually out in the snow.
Well, I mean they were filming during COVID, and it also kind of works right now because just like now in real life that it's snowing. Oh god.
Yeah, it is super cold here, and I think I have shown up to the podcast in the same thick wool sweater every single time. Like I
I
have
think
more
so.
clothes than
There's a theme going on.
my
Well, I
men's ski
mean,
sweater.
we've been doing this. We've been recovering this since last month.
Oh my god, has it already been that long?
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Well, we covered it. Yeah, because I think I think I hit you up to talk about covering this because usually I'm not one for covering newer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I really like this show, and who can I think of who also likes this and wants to cover it? And I've had on this channel before when covering another game that will be eventually turned into a show.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's already been that long. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so they're going through the snow, and I'm under my blanket, like, ooh,
Oh
no,
yeah, it's like, oh no,
no.
I know that we're having to, that's what we're looking forward to soon.
Yeah.
Um,
They're without like good winter gear too. And I'm like, oh no.
at least like wearing like the double socks and everything. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you. Oh man, I just can't be I imagine freezing, and I also feel bad for Joel. Like the more he's caring about Ellie, the less he's actually being aware. Like how he said he's gonna take watch, and then he falls asleep, and
Mhm.
like his age is showing. I think
Yeah.
what in the game he's like in his 50s.
I think he said, did
He
he
said that
say
he was like
56 in the Sam and Henry episode?
yeah, because in the first episode he said he was 36, so he's gonna be because like what I think he's gonna be in his 60s come season two because it jumps 5 or 4 years
Yeah.
in part two because Ellie by part two
She's
Ellie's like
19.
19, yeah.
Yeah.
So Joel's gonna be like so they're gonna have to age Pedro Pascal just a little bit like they did with um Nick Swartzen and the other guy who played as Bill and Frank.
Yeah.
But
I
see
mean,
now they do old.
honestly, like, I'm sure they'll do great with all the SFX these days. You know, like what they do with Doctor
Oh
Octopus
yeah.
and makeup. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be
I'm sure they're gonna make. And by the time season two comes out, I mean, like I said, Bella Ramsey's already 19.
Mhm.
She's like she's the age of Ellie right now, like from part
Yeah.
two. But when she first started acting, from what I've seen in Game of Thrones, she was like the age that she was like 13, 14 when she was in Game of Thrones.
She
She's
was so
19
little.
now, so
I
she's
was like,
like,
wait, you're having that kid as Ellie? Hold on.
oh yeah, no, and she aged though,
Yeah.
like had they made a Last of Us back then, like
Hmm.
she would have been the perfect role for young Ellie, and she's still, you know, I get why they didn't cast an actual 14-year-old,
Hmm.
mainly because, all the timing and everything, and kids underage, kid actors underage can only film a certain amount of scenes
Right.
because, school and child labor laws and all that
Hmm.
stuff. But if you find the right actor, like
Hmm.
that's old, like over 18 to play younger, it works. And I think
Yeah.
from what I've seen, it works.
Yeah.
By the way,
They
what
did a great job with her.
Oh yeah. What did you think of the little Easter egg of Ellie trying to whistle?
That was pretty great. I loved that. I
I
loved how in the game,
like
yeah.
I can't even do that kind of whistle. I can do the
No,
regular.
I can't
I don't
whistle
know.
at
I mean, I don't know how people can do that one. I can just do the. I can
all. I
do that
can't.
kind of whistle.
Lost cause.
But like again, like it was like early in the game when Ellie was trying to whistle, and then like throughout the game she got better at whistling. This one they kind of introduced that. They're introducing stuff late and early, and I don't mind it. It
Mhm.
works. Unlike some shows,
Huh.
doesn't work.
I'm really since I've played both games now and I know what some of the enemies are like in the second game, I like that they've actually like made a point to introduce the whistling because that's going to be important later.
Oh yeah, you're trying to sneak, and then Ellie whistling like Ellie, stop your fucking whistling. But it doesn't attract anything. I remember playing I remember seeing like the Last of Us Part Two playing on um the hardest difficulty, and when you're like reloading your gun, enemies will hear that compared
Oh
to.
god.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be more of a realistic mode, unlike when
Yeah.
you're loading and unloading, and I'm glad they brought that aspect here. Like it's like basically watching the TV shows, like playing the hardest difficulty. If you make a sound or something, someone's gonna hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's only one game I've ever played on ultra hard for realism. Horizon
Oh
Zero Dawn.
yeah, Zero Dawn. Soon that
Which
will
if
be made
anyone
into
has
soon,
seen me on this channel before, that is not a surprise.
and soon that will be made into live action. I'm not sure what studio's picking that up yet.
I hope it's not awful.
I hope I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hope with how HBO Max has been treating Last of Us, I kind of want to
Mhm.
see HBO Max pick up the last Horizon Zero Dawn, because yeah, I know it will be done. I don't trust Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on Paramount because they haven't done anything game related, and if you unless you want to count Sonic the Hedgehog, but we'll see.
Yeah, I love
I
what
just
they've
like
been doing with The Last of Us. They've been doing stellar job.
my only concern is trying to find the right actor to play as Aloy if and when the live action Horizon comes
Mhm.
out. That is my only concern. Like you got to find someone to play Aloy,
Yeah, I mean, if you can
and
nail
also make sure the story is close to the game like The Last of Us has been. But
100%.
oh yeah. So yeah, thoughts on this episode. What were your thoughts when all those people from Jackson were rounding up, circling Ellie and Joel in that scene?
I liked it. I also liked the timing when Ellie was like, "Is this the river of death?" And then they're suddenly
oh,
surrounded. I thought that
oh
was some
yeah.
pretty hilarious timing. And I
Oh
like that there's
yeah.
an actual sense of danger and urgency and fear because
Oh
they have the dog sniffing
oh
around
yeah.
infection.
Such a good boy.
A good boy. And, we know Ellie is
It is
infected. She's just
infected.
not turning. So you're like, oh my
No.
God, is the dog going to sniff her out?
Oh yeah, that was my concern. You can like see Joel's reaction, like, and then you hear Ellie like, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?"
That was
I I,
great.
I
I love
think the
that.
reason why because Ellie's infection is like months old, so I
Hmm.
doubt it would have that fresh scent
Yeah, it's
compared
not
to
a new infection.
like since she's also immune, it's basically
Hmm.
a scar. It's
Hmm.
basically what it is. But like any other person who wasn't immune, the dog would like sniff at it.
Yeah, it's really interesting that the dog didn't pick up on it. And of course, woo, good thing they made it through that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And then we get introduced to Jackson. We actually get to see what Jackson looks like because we didn't get
Yeah,
to see the
I
inside. We
love
didn't get to
what
see
they
the
did with
inside of.
Jackson.
We didn't get to see the inside of Jackson until part two, which I
Yeah,
kind of find which I kind of find it ironic when we're introduced to the whole town of Jackson in part two. It's snowing. When we're introduced to Jackson in the show, it's snowing. Like, I see what you did there. I don't
yeah,
know that's on purpose, but I see what you did there, you bastards. And I can't be mad at you for it.
yeah. I love that. I mean, it looks about like what I would expect it to look like after playing the games, but it's still cool to see it. It's like it's got working lights, and I
Oh,
like the addition
right.
of the movie theater.
Oh, yeah. No,
That's
I
pretty.
love that. I think for what I saw, like they actually went used an actual town, and they were saying how they weren't sure if certain buildings were going to let them film, but from what I saw and heard, like people were like, "Yeah, here, film. We want to see what the town a town gets recognition, which is
That's pretty
nice."
cool.
Oh yeah. So what
But I
did you
like
think of
the
Joel?
huh?
Oh, go ahead, Star. Go ahead, Star. You like the what?
Oh, I just like that, relatively speaking, it just looks like a normal pre-apocalypse town. I think it's really jarring when they first enter town and it doesn't look like a war zone.
Oh no, it looks nice. It's
Mhm.
also out in the middle of nowhere, as they explain. They're like they're a communist. As Maria put it, they're a communist commune.
That was pretty great. I love her. She's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I honestly don't mind the race swapping for Maria.
Oh, I think it's awesome. I'm always a fan of seeing diversity. And so I was like, "Oh, cool," because like she wasn't a terribly important character in the games, and now they're like, "Hey, let's
No, they're
flesh
fleshing her
her out."
out. They're
I
fleshing
know,
these
I
like
love that.
they're fleshing out these NPC one-time characters out, and I love it. I am
Yes.
all for it. Like, yes, I want to learn about Maria. I want to actually like Maria. I don't want to like see who the hell is this, and like in the game she was all like I'm gonna shoot you and in the show she's like come with us and yeah. What did you think of Joel and Tommy's reunion? Like when he saw Tommy working on that whatever it was.
Thought it was interesting. They were kind of off to a weird start. There was definitely some drama between the two of them. It's not quite the reunion, you're expecting. You're like, oh, they're gonna like run up and hug each other and have a good time. And I mean, they did that initially,
Oh
and then it
no,
got
like
weird.
yeah, and like I mean, it wasn't like again the game is a show. I really did like the reunion, and then I have never heard someone. I mean, I have, but like hearing someone younger than me saying the F word excessively in one scene, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, you just gonna ruin the F word, Bella? When she's
That is
like stuffing her face
Ellie'sburg,
in the
okay?
food, it's just like manners and everything, and then yeah, and I don't know if you've seen the theories and rumors, but that girl who was hiding behind the pillar staring at Ellie apparently is supposed to be Dina.
Oh, of course it is. Come on, the minute I saw her, I was like, I know
Well,
who
I
you
mean, there is that dialogue in part two where they're in Seattle on the horse,
Mm-hmm.
like how Ellie was saying, when I first got to it, like I was like, putting food in my pockets because thought I was gonna run out within a week, and said, "Oh, I know, I saw you." It's like
I think it
it, it,
makes
it's
sense that
it's a
if
subtle
that's
hint, but
yeah.
if that is Dina, it's like okay, but I've just noticed that the stuff that there's mentioned in part two, that's said in part two, is
Mm-hmm.
like being shown in this in season one. Like, okay, all right,
I think it makes a lot of sense to have some setup now in prep for part two if that is Dina, because then she doesn't just appear out of thin air. We have a character we
no,
can reference.
oh yeah, and also we learn more. Like I said with Maria, we learn more about her that her and Tommy are they're gonna have a kid, which like, all right, okay,
I
that's
I cannot get over how much I love Maria. Like she's so
we may get to see their kid in part two.
I'm excited. Like she's so well spoken. Like she's like a leader, but
Mm-hmm.
she's also kind of a hard ass. And I
Not
love
like
when these two live
not like
together.
how the Maria was in the video game.
She was just
In
kind
all
of
honesty,
annoying and uninteresting.
I'm gonna be biased here. I like TV show Maria compared to video game
Oh,
Maria.
100%. She's so much better. I love her so much. She's great because you look at her and you're like, you could single handedly run this town and you could do it perfectly. And I love you for that.
Oh yeah.
I
I
love
also
strong, well developed female
oh
characters.
yeah, no.
Biased.
And I also like the fact that she has a nose ring.
Yeah. They're just like little differences that make the people in the show more interesting. You know, we're seeing a
Oh
little more
yeah.
racial
Oh
diversity, we're
no.
seeing disability, we're seeing like jewelry, and I'm like, okay, it's starting to reflect like real people.
Oh yeah, no. Like they said, they're not like savages or anything. They keep
Yeah.
and they affected into bad people that way at bay.
Hmm.
And I also do like you know, the little nod. It still made me sad when they go to the little barn area and the horse, whatever that thing is called,
The
the
pony.
stables, and seeing
Ah,
when Maria said when Maria pointed to the baby horse and her name was Shimmer's like, really? You're gonna fucking do? You're gonna fucking show us Shimmer, and especially when a good chunk of us knows what happens. I'm not gonna spoil that part for those who are
prepping you for
watching.
part two.
Oh no, 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 no! I cry. Like if anyone's played, if anyone's played part two, if you haven't, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you're watching this season and you haven't played part two. I am so sorry.
I
I
was
like,
just talking to a friend earlier. It's hilarious because I could have sworn that they had played the game before, and it was really funny because they miss all these little Easter eggs, and we were talking about the ending of the show, and they were like, "I had no idea it was going to end that way. It was such a plot twist." I'm like, "Well, of course it had to end that way. That's how that section of the game." But wait, you've played this, right? No, I had no idea. It's really funny hearing the reactions from like people
oh no,
who
and
have
seeing
more
you when I was messaging you on Instagram about that scene, you were laughing like you asshole.
You were like, "Oh no, it's Shimmer." I was like, "Of course they're gonna stick the knife in you and twist it to
God,
show
just
you're not
fucking
kind."
Craig and Neil, enough with the fucking hurting already.
This whole show is pain. Why are you giving me?
I was already sad with Bill and Frank, especially
Oh
knowing
god,
what Bill was doing. But like, oh, we're gonna show you this. Oh, a cute baby horse. What's the horse's name? Shimmer. Like, really,
couldn't have named it
really,
anything else.
you couldn't have named it. Well, what was the horse that Ellie named that gets offed later on in the game?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Because I know that wasn't Shimmer. Because we don't see Shimmer until she's like fully grown in part two.
Yeah.
And when I replayed part two again, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna like.
Hmm.
And then seeing Shimmer, and that horse looks exactly like Shimmer from the game.
Hmm. Hmm. Good casting on the horse.
right? Sucks what's gonna happen to you in about 5 years.
Yeah, right.
But we're just gonna like, and I gotta give props. I don't know who like came up with the idea to show all the animals, but that was a nice little touch. Seeing like the sheep, which is kind of a reference to Ellie and Dina having a sheep farm, and later in part two, like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I
I
honestly
love
don't
the fact
mind
they
them
get
showing.
together. And then it
I
goes
honestly,
thrown out the window.
oh yeah, I don't mind them showing, you know, references like things we'll see in part two.
Hmm.
Again, I don't mind that they're pushing certain things forward and then pushing certain things back. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it whatever they're doing, the timing feels appropriate, so I don't
Well,
mind.
again, when you get the creator of the game,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, I trust you. You're
Hmm.
not gonna fuck this up like The Witcher or the Halo series. I'm still,
Yeah.
I'm still
I
like,
have not played The Witcher. Okay, that's a lot. I've played like 2 hours of The Witcher 3. So I went into the show mostly blind, and that was
well, I
really
mean, the show was more based on the book, but I already did a I already did a part one of I already did a what were your what were your what was it? Well, yeah, was it worth making season one of The Witcher with Iki and JK?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
I
then they
like
dropped
season
Henry
one.
Cavill, right?
Huh?
And then they dropped Henry Cavill, didn't they?
Oh yeah, because of creative differences, the creators wanted to pull a Game of Thrones, do their own. Yeah, that's anyway.
Hmm.
We're not talking about Game of Thrones because I just not really one for watching Game of Thrones. No offense to anyone who likes GOT, but I just have no to watch it. Uh, but yeah, and I was like, oh, and I also like them showing the dam, and then Ellie's,
Yeah. Yeah.
dam. Like, hey, it's a dam where we originally meet them and have that fight with the hunters. Oh, we're just gonna show you the dam.
I think it makes sense to just show it in passing. Like, I
Oh
think it
yeah,
works in the game, but just to show it in passing kind of
oh
as a little.
yeah, no, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of wondering if there was gonna be like a fight scene between them and the hunters, like,
Yeah.
like in the game. Oh, okay, well, that's perfectly fine. I want to see more of Jackson anyway in the snow.
Hmm.
And it takes place apparently during Christmas time, and
Yeah. Yeah. They were singing Christmas songs. I think they had a tree
mhm.
up in the square too.
Yeah, they did. What else did you think of between Joel and Tommy's scenes when they were like talking at the bar, and then later when Joel was trying to fix his boots and everything?
Oh, is that when Joel's like monologuing and having his mental breakdown?
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. I loved it a
That
lot.
was that
We
was
finally got to see like
sad.
Joel being
A,
real, and we
a
heard all of this.
human,
Yeah, and we
I,
heard all the deep dark fears, and he tries to like, you know, just
like
be a
he
survivalist.
lost Sarah, he lost Tess, he's afraid of losing Ellie,
Yeah. He thought he
and
lost his brother for a while because he
oh
couldn't hear
yeah.
the radio.
And honestly, I love the actor who they got to play as Tommy, and the mustache works.
The mustache is pretty fabulous, I have to
And
admit.
he's also wearing that jean jacket that Tommy
Yeah.
wears in the game. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
oh
I really liked their interaction, and I like how Tommy is. I felt like Tommy's reaction was realistic, and I liked that. And I also liked
here
how Ellie's reaction
he
to
wasn't
their
acting like that.
discussion was realistic.
He wasn't acting, and I quote, the pissy little brother.
Yeah, yeah. I like that Tommy, he acts like an adult. He's not, yeah, like you said, the annoying little brother.
He's not threatening Joel like, if you do that again, you're gonna regret it. Remember, kind of thing. I
Yeah,
also did like the scene between Ellie and Maria at Maria's house when
yeah.
she's cutting
I
her
like how
hair and
Maria's cutting her hair and she's like, "Do you trust anyone?" No, good.
it was also cool to learn Maria's backstory. She had lost her kid,
Yeah,
Kevin, I think,
yeah.
and then you see
And I,
that like, so you see that giant plaque of, Kevin or Ken, born this day, passed away, in 2003, and then you see Sarah. Like,
Yeah.
we
I
don't
thought
see
that
a
was a
picture
really
that we
creative
we see
way.
we see we see a plaque, not
Mhm.
a picture like in the game. It's a plaque.
Yeah. I thought that was a really creative way to give her backstory and also to clue Ellie in on the fact that Joel had a daughter because it's not
Hmm.
been mentioned so far.
Oh yeah, no. And then of course, so I'm gonna feel really stupid here because, and you can tell me what was that thing that feminine hygiene product that Ellie was messing around with and said, "Ew."
Oh.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Like, I hate to sound that dumb. Can you explain what the hell that was?
Yeah, so it's a menstrual cup. And so whereas tampons and pads are disposable, this is reusable and you insert it when you're bleeding, it fills up with blood. You take it out, you empty it in the toilet, you clean it off and it goes back in and it's reusable. So I actually liked the inclusion of that because it's kind of like the writing tablet, how it's reusable. It makes sense that if, like, hey, we're going to take care of women and we have limited products to survive, that we're going to go and get a lot of cups instead of
Hmm.
tampons, which we're going to have to replenish all the time. So I thought it's a little
I
thing, but I thought it was very smart.
I do like those little nods. Like, yeah, the world has gone to shit over the past 20 years.
Hmm.
Finding feminine hygiene products is, I'm glad that they're throwing those in. Like I said, I didn't know what the fuck that thing really was. So, like, thank you for explaining what that was.
Don't worry, I didn't know what it was for a while either.
And then, of course, seeing Ellie's jacket that she wears in that one scene when Maria
Yeah.
puts all those fresh clothes on her bed.
Hmm.
And again, I felt so bad for Joel after he got done talking to Tommy, and
Oh, he just poured his heart out.
oh yeah, and then Joel has another heart issue when he thinks he saw when he thinks he saw sees Sarah with a kid, and he's like,
Right.
wait, did Sarah actually turn? Nope. Like, I'm glad they're humanizing Joel more in
Yeah.
this.
And
Like,
they're
they're
really
giving him
showing like
character.
the pain of a dad losing a daughter.
They're giving him character development, which
Yeah, we love
you
character
didn't see a whole lot of. You didn't see a whole lot of. It's gonna make season two a whole lot sadder with how much character development they're
Yeah.
giving Joel.
I
Like,
like that in the game. So I've always liked Joel, whether it's game or show. But in the game, I feel like he came off much more macho. And I like that he's still quote unquote macho. He's still a manly man, if you will, but he has feelings like an actual person in the show. And
not,
we see a little more of that, and I love it.
and that's the one thing I like about shows like this, based off original source material, prior source material. Is like, it's nice to see this. Just like I honestly like the character development they gave Boba Fett in the book of Boba Fett.
I've
I
heard
like
good things. I have not seen it.
that. The way
Need
I always say, if you want to watch it, watch. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I still refuse to also watch Velma on HBO Max, but that's just because the atrocious shit I've seen. Yes, I'm bad mouthing Velma. Sue me, Mindy Kaling.
I have heard some interesting reviews about that show. I'm not a Scooby Doo fan at all, but I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really not going near that. Sounds like some weird things happened.
Oh yeah. And then we get to the most iconic scene. And I thought, when Ellie saw Tommy and Maria talk in the theater, I thought she was going to run off and,
Hmm.
go to that ranch. Nope. It's at the house. And
Yeah,
that scene is nearly word for fucking word when she's reading the diary. This is what
yeah.
girls, boys, what shirt goes with what skirt.
Hmm.
Ah, and then they added the music and everything when she, tells Joel how she really feels and everything.
I loved that. It felt really real. And we've had Joel pour his heart out. Now we're having Ellie pour her heart out, and she's angry and sad, and she feels like she's betrayed. I'm like, oh, there's so many complex emotions happening here. I love it.
Yeah, what did you think of that scene that was damn near a recreation of one from the game.
Oh, I thought it was great. The scenes
And
that they recreate,
she was even wearing the jacket too from that scene in the game.
yeah. I feel like the scenes that they choose to recreate from the game were pretty damn good in the original. So I appreciate that they're being choosy with which ones to use because it's like, hey, this is an impactful moment. We're just going to recreate this straight up.
Oof, and it worked. I mean, I know when Joel, like when Ellie says, I'm sorry what happened to Sarah, it's like, Ellie, he's like, no, and it's like I remember like it when the game was like, Ellie, you were treading on some mighty thin ice here.
Yeah.
But like everything that Ellie said and what part of Joel said was like damn near word for word, like, and then
Yeah.
when that guitar starts playing just like in the game, it's like, God damn.
I knew it was
Oh,
coming, but it kills me every time she says, Joel, I'm not your daughter. I'm like, not yet, you're not. Shut up.
uh, and then just Joel having that flashback with Sarah on Christmas and just like that hurt.
I know. Like, there was just a lot of emotions and character development and feelings, and it was great. I think that was awesome, especially after we had like an action episode, if you will, last time.
We're gonna talk about episode 5. Still hurts the way that episode went.
Right. And then I
It's
love
not making.
the scene following that where Joel and Ellie and Tommy are all at the stables together.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely like I said in the game, they went to go find Ellie, and that's when he leaves. But it's like
Yeah.
he's wait. I was like, when they were walking to the stables, like, yeah, he's gonna be waiting there. And then it's like you still have time to change your mind. Just Ellie just shoves her backpack and like get on the damn horse.
I love how she's being such a teenager because she's like, okay, I don't like this, but I will comply. I will go with Tommy. And then Joel shows up and he's like, hey, do you want to go? And she's like, let's go. Like now, let's go.
I know she was hoping for it, and just like
Yeah. I also like that
like
Joel apologizes. That's refreshing. I feel like we
oh
don't get
yeah.
a lot of apologies for when people are kind of butt heads in media.
Oh no. And it was also, again referencing to the game, like, how Tommy says you guys always have a place here when you come back.
hmm hmm
Like, it's so nice.
I know. It's so heartwarming. I was like, oh, Tom,
And then that's
stop
like,
it.
by the way, I want your rifle.
Yeah, right. Those I know they get a horse in the game, but I was like, wow, that's super generous that they gave them a whole horse. Dang.
Right? Oh yeah. And then like one of my favorite scenes, and I like that there's comedic aspects when Joel is teaching Ellie how to shoot.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Like, I can't freaking aim and meh, 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 meh.
Here's your
Like
error, Ellie.
there's something wrong with the rifle. Joel just shoots it perfectly, and then I like when it zooms in on that dummy that says asshole.
Oh, that was glorious. It was such a tiny little scene, but it was perfect. Everything about it was awesome. It was totally a
And then
bonding moment.
oh yeah, and then we get interested, and we're shown the university,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like how they're riding the
Where we all knew
horse.
shit was gonna hit the fan.
Oh yeah. I do like the reference from the game where Joel talks about, what people would do at a university, and
Mm-hmm.
how when he said he was younger he wanted to be a singer and everything, and
That was
it's like,
great.
hey, it's another little Easter egg. Like, okay, I like it. And then we see all those
Come on,
freaking
Joel, you still
monkeys.
got time.
But I know in the game, there's also the other dialogue about how, Joel's baby mama and everything, and how, Ellie says too much. That's too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, too much.
I know, of course, that we spend more time at the university in the game because you have
Mm.
to physically go through the buildings and make your way to the end.
Uh,
But
oh,
I like that they
oh,
compressed it in the show.
You want to go to this part where you have to get this power cord, put it to the generator, while also fighting off infected. But hey, look at the monkeys. Oh, which was actually nice to see. I mean, I know they were CGI and they were baboons, I think, and they looked like they were baboons in this one. I think I couldn't
I'm no
tell,
monkey expert.
but it was like, hey, it's a monkey reference. It was like, does that mean
Yeah,
we get to see the giraffe? Do it? Does that mean we get to see the giraffes in episode 9? They kind
I
of
like
fucked up if you didn't show that.
I like that the monkeys were there because honestly, I feel like that end room where they find, where the fireflies were and the
Or
monkeys. That's honestly the only thing for me that was actually
maybe
memorable.
maybe they all turned into monkeys or something.
Yep, they did. And then of course there's after that is also memorable, but honestly, like leading up to it, the
Oh
room with
yeah,
the monkeys is the only thing notable, and
and
then the attack afterwards.
I honestly thought so. Like in the game, you find that scientist dead body because he got bitten and
Yeah.
everything, and you hear that recorder saying if you wanted to look for the fireflies, they're in Salt Lake at St. Mary's Hospital. That's
Hmm.
not there.
Yeah.
We actually get just a map pinpointing to
Hmm.
that location. Like, oh, well, that saves some time.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because they had to piece it together a little bit, and because we're not actually utilizing recordings in the
Mhm.
show, so I think it would have been silly.
No, we're not. Wait,
Yeah, so I think it would be
I have not seen any recording like seen like
no.
you pick up the recorders. I have not seen any of that.
And I honestly think that's a really smart move. I don't want to watch a character listening to a recording device for like
Oh
10
god.
minutes per episode.
Or
So I like that
and
they
I'm glad they also took out the sports because who wants to mask on, mask off? It's like
yeah, yeah.
we got to see a little bit with Bill wearing his gas mask because he thought the
Mhm.
world was gone to shit.
It's another one of those really tiny changes where overall it doesn't seem like that makes that big of an impact, but I'm like,
Oh
that
no.
was smart and I'm glad you did it.
Oh yeah, and then when those hunters arrive, unlike the game, how when they see the hunters, they just shoot.
Yeah,
They just in the show they don't like that doesn't happen. They see them and they try to get
sneak out.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is smart because
I
theoretically
remember.
you should be doing that in the game, but the game was a little on the shooter side.
Oh
And
yeah, I mean, this is a show. Like, who wants to
yeah,
watch 10, 15 minutes of Ellie and Joel being in a shootout with a bunch of
yeah,
cannibalistic hunters?
yeah.
Like,
I
I
also
don't.
think it's smart though because this show seems to mimic real life just a smidge more than the game.
Mm,
In real life, your best
only
bet's
because if you were to do stuff in the game in real life, you'd be fucking dead.
yeah, like when I hit myself with my own Molotov cocktail, but details.
Mm, I've never had that happen. I usually just.
Okay, honestly, one thing I do miss though about the combat in the game is I really miss the nail bombs.
Oh, I
I want to
love
see that in the show
those.
just once. Please give me a nail
My
bomb.
my favorite thing was the trip mine in part two, which when I was replaying, it's like, wait, why don't I have the trip mine? Why do I wait? Why? I look up, it's like, oh, that's right, you have to find it in that apartment when you escape from the school. Yeah, story. And what did you think of the scene? So like when Joel gets hurt, what did you think of that scene compared to the game version?
I I thought it was good. Yeah, no complaints on my part. I liked it. Pedro's a solid actor. Ellie's
Oh,
losing her mind. They're trying to get out of the university and he just flops off the horse.
oh yeah,
Like,
no, but like in the game, Joel gets in a fight with that
yeah,
hunter, and they fall out the window,
yeah,
and then he gets impaled. Like he gets impaled right away. We see it
yeah,
in the show. He gets sideswiped by that hunter trying to choke him with a baseball bat. Joel snaps his neck. Ellie sees that, and then she looks, and then Joel looks like, "Oh shit!" I
yeah,
was shocked myself. Like, are they still gonna have it where Joel gets impaled? Like, yeah, but you're gonna have to wait to see that, and then like you see that the baseball bat that Hunter just like. I think when the baseball bat broke against a tree
hmm
and Joel snapping the guy's neck, I think while he knew he was gonna die, so it's like, well, you know what? If I'm gonna die, so are you, buddy. Yeah.
yeah. I love that. Um, Yeah, Joel getting hurt in the show, like I said, I feel like the show is going a little more realistically. That felt more believable.
Oh, that could actually happen in real
Oh,
life.
100%. I totally
And
expect that to
and
happen.
all well, I mean, not to mention all that adrenaline that, because when you're in the moment like that, you don't know what's going on. Your main focus, your
Yeah,
adrenaline's like focused on that one thing. So
yeah,
once your adrenaline dies down, just like in real life, then you realize, oh, look at that. I've
yeah.
been impaled.
And just because, like we've missed a couple of the super fantastical things that were in the game that make it slightly less believable, I think it would have been weird to have him go out a window and
Oh
be.
yeah, no. And not to mention Ellie dragging his ass
Yeah, yeah,
while she's also shooting, and then but in the show they're running away and Ellie's just like firing blindly at the hunters.
yeah. I also liked that Joel's killing blow on that guy. That, that was straight from the game. I
Oh,
appreciated
where
that.
he snapped his neck.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, did he?
I was like, hey, a tiny little nod. I love that. And I think it makes total sense that he got himself on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie defended against the enemy because
Oh
otherwise
yeah,
she can't drag him. She can't put him on a horse. She's 14. He's huge
yeah.
and heavy. And then I like that, later they're going along the tracks and he just dramatically
Like
falls.
plops, just like in the game.
Yep. Yep.
And then Ellie's all freaking out and everything, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I mean, and then just they're playing that sad music, and then it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. That
And then
last scene or so, I loved that. I thought that was really great.
oh yeah, no, definitely. So overall thought before we talk about what may be expected for episode 7, what were your thoughts and expectations for episode 6?
The show went about as I expected to. These were all the plot points I was expecting to be hit in this episode, and I feel like they did a great job executing it and little details and changes to help flesh out characters and adapt it to the show. So, 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh yeah, no. I honestly thought the university was gonna be a separate episode. I wasn't expecting them to like bam, like last 15 minutes we're gonna throw this in. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right, it's cool. And
I'm glad it
then
was not a separate
oh
episode.
no, 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 no. It's not just 10 episodes would be nice.
Yeah.
And then we're shown the next episode, which is literally called Left Behind, just like in the DLC.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious on how that one's gonna go because if you remember playing the DLC, we would hop
Mhm.
between present day when
Mhm.
Ellie was trying to find medication for Joel
Mhm.
in that mall, and then you know, past probably a few months later, like a few months ago, and it's also nice to see Ellie because in the game Ellie talks about being in that school doing this and that, and we
Mhm.
don't see that because by the time the DLC is out, it's Riley coming to get Ellie. We
Right.
actually get to see what Ellie went through at that Fedra school.
Yeah. I'm expecting the next episode to essentially be a play-by-play of the DLC because the DLC itself wasn't terribly long. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was, of course, shortened down, but just about copied and pasted.
And I think also because in the trailer again we see Ellie's mom giving birth or so,
Yeah,
or I don't know. I know Ashley Johnson is plays Ellie's mom, so I was like, we actually get to see Ellie's mom, and
yeah.
then I'll fast forward to Ellie being sent to the Fedra school, or how's that
Mhm.
gonna pan out? And
I'm excited to see more of her past. Hopefully, I mean, we see a lot of her with Riley, but I mean, like, even before that.
oh yeah. Also, what did you think of how Ellie got upset finding out that Riley was a Firefly compared to the game? Because in the trailer, we see Ellie getting mad at Riley, finding out she's a Firefly, unlike the game when like Ellie's like, "Oh, cool, you're a Firefly."
Yeah, I'm wondering if because she went to the Fedra school, she has like a pre-existing idea that fireflies are inherently bad. So I'm interested to see if that plays a role.
Oh yeah,
I think it's going to be more interesting for Ellie to be upset at Riley for going this route, whereas Ellie being like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever, Firefly."
Oh yeah, no.
So excited for the next episode.
Oh yeah, no.
We're almost out of episodes.
Well, we got, let's see, episode 7 Left Behind,
And then
and
2 more.
then yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
especially
good.
the next episode. I'm expecting it to be basically shot for shot. And I'm
And
more
we
or less,
also may get to see Ellie potentially kill Riley because remember Ellie said in I
yeah,
think what was it episode 4
right.
she had killed someone before and she didn't want to talk about it. So we actually may get to see the scene. We may not see the whole scene, but we may see like a little glimpse of
Mm-hmm.
Ellie killing Riley because they both get bit.
That's gonna be rough. I'm gonna burst into tears all over again.
Oh yeah. No, so
I'm
next
expecting, yeah, next episode essentially to be play by play, and I'm kind of expecting that for the last 2 episodes also.
mm, I know, and of course, just with the theme, they're going to be fleshing out a lot of characters.
Yeah, really, really interested for episode 8. It's gonna be good.
Oh, okay, didn't get a copyright claim. That was just a copyright. Yeah, I know. Thank you, YouTube, for letting me know that a clip I used for an interview, you know, is copyrighted. At least it's not a copyrighted claim. I'm so freaking tired of seeing, oh, this is copyright claim, like, fuck off. But yeah, no. So last but not least, as I always said, would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media? Because I'm actually kind of getting tired of saying, would you like to promote yourself to remember? So make it short. Would you like to know where people? Would you like to, as always, would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram under Kira's Cosplay. That's where I'm most active. And you can also find me on Facebook and TikTok under the same names,
Oh
where
yeah.
I'm less active.
I also got to ask real quick. Do you ever plan on cosplaying as Ellie in the future?
I did Ellie a little while back, but I didn't wear her for terribly long just because, like, there wasn't a lot of, like, no one knew who I was. And part of cosplay for me is interacting with people based on, like, connection via the character. But now that the show is out, there's definitely potential for me to cosplay Ellie again. I did her part 2 outfit,
I
and I
remember
really
that.
liked that. I would do that again.
Nice. Anyway, that should do it. I actually, sadly, I won't be able to watch the episode 7 until like a day later
Oh,
because I
good.
had
Now I get to message you spoilers.
fair enough. I won't get to watch it until like the next day because I had to put HBO Max on pause due to not having enough funds for it because
God damn it.
my because I was able to get HBO Max. Anyway, I'll talk after I did this. Anyway, as always, I'm Way the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.